Hello everyone, my name is Elmira and my today's video will be about libel issues and how to solve it if you're a media manager. Libel is an ongoing concern with media managers. For example, a libel award against the Wall Street Journal was originally $227 million but was reduced to $22.7 million in compensatory damages in May 1997, and Richard Jewell, identified as a bombing suspect in the 1996 Centennial Olympic Park bombing in Atlanta, reached a $500,000 settlement with NBC over comments an anchorman made on the air after the bombing. He also settled with Time with no payment and CNN for an undisclosed amount. Jewell has libel suits pending against the Atlanta Journal and Constitution, New York Post, and Disney's ABC AM. Obviously, media managers must ensure that safeguards are in place to minimize the chances of a libel action and cover situations and individuals fairly given these high stakes. The essential elements common to both libel and slander actions are: first, the making by the defendant of a defamatory statement. Second, the publication to at least one other than the plaintiff of that statement. And three, the identification in some way of the plaintiff as the person defamed. Libelous words, pictures, or cartoons are those that expose a person to public shame, ridicule, disgust, hatred, or create an ill opinion of a person. The only complete and unconditional defense to a civil action for libel is that the facts stated are probably true. A second defense is privilege, either absolute or qualified. For a more detailed explanation of libel and its defenses and who constitute public figures, consult Gilmore, Barron, and Simon, 1998, or the most recent AP Style Book, or AP Broadcast News Handbook. The major causes of libel suits are carelessness, misunderstanding of the law of libel, limitations of the defense of privilege, including the First Amendment privilege, and the extent to which developments may be reported in arrests. Surprisingly, many libel suits result from fact errors in minor stories, court and police news, birth notices, and engagements. At least one newsroom editor or manager must be knowledgeable about state and federal libel developments. Advise reporters and editors when they research and write stories that the plaintiff in a libel case has the right to try to prove the press was reckless or even knew that what it was publishing was a lie. Instruct employees to keep careful notes and memos. Obtain more than one source for potentially libelous accusation. Obtain supporting documents for controversial statements and obtain the appropriate court documents such as complaints, cease and desist orders, and judgments when allegations are made. These materials are to be kept in files demonstrating the care taken to ensure stories are accurate. Potentially libelous stories should be reviewed by a legal expert before publication. Any post-publication contact with a person claiming to be libeled should be handled carefully, as the response is an important factor in a decision to sue. Judges and potential jurors in a libel-related survey describe journalists as irresponsible, lacking decency, courtesy, ethics, invaders of privacy, and arrogant. Journalists should consider how the average person will react when weighing the use of hidden cameras or other potentially controversial news-gathering techniques. And editors might consider whether other techniques could be used that would not open a media outlet to libel. However, media managers must avoid self-censorship that does not serve the public. Lawyers may evaluate how much a lawsuit would cost rather than whether it could succeed. Small papers and presumably other small media organizations have become especially careful about what they publish for fear of surviving a costly libel battle. Although prudence and care always make good sense, a manager must always consider whether the potential suit is meant to intimidate and whether the public interest would be served by publication or broadcast. The video will tell you about one more libel case.
Comedian Frankie Boyle has won over £54,000 in damages after a High Court ruled that he had been libelled by the Daily Mirror. The 40-year-old Glaswegian sued the Mirror after claiming the newspaper had defamed him when describing him in an article on the 19th of July 2011 as a racist. The newspaper also added that he was forced to quit the BBC comedy quiz show Mock the Week. The controversial comedian is known for his edgy humour and has hit the headlines for previous jokes about Olympic swimmer Rebecca Adlington and the disabled son of former glamour model Katie Price. Boyle took to Twitter after the ruling, saying, "I am very happy with the jury's decision and their unanimous rejection of the Mirror's allegation that I am a racist. Racism is still a very serious problem in society, which is why I've made a point of always being anti-racist in my life and work." He later added on the microblogging site that he was giving away the damages to charity.